Here we are, guys. The UEFA main round of Champions League action is here. And if you're new to the competition, you may be a little confused with the format. If you remember, we did a few interviews back in August of Darius Ruhi and Richard Ward as they prepared for the preliminary round of this competition, which saw teams from amateur level countries as well as the lowest ranked countries in UEFA Futsal duke it out in a preliminary round, which saw 8 winners across the 8 groups move on to this main round. One lucky runner-up, the best of all 8, was also invited to this main round competition. And now we are really in the thick of it with all the teams participating as they look ahead for UEFA Champions League glory. Now the breakdown gets a lot more difficult as it's more than just the lower level teams moving up to the higher level teams. So if you're confused like I was at first when I started following this contest, you are not alone. I will do my best today to describe the contest to you guys and point out a few teams I have my eye on and see if you guys agree as well as we discuss this in the comments below. As always, guys, don't forget to continue the conversation afterwards so we can continue to grow this futsal network we're starting here on YouTube to grander and grander heights. Now, we're entering the main round. What is there to look out for? First of all, there's 2 different paths for teams going into the main round. There is what's considered Path A, which is the defending champs. In this case, you may remember that Palma from Mallorca were the champs in their debut Champions League run last year. They will be back, and they're in that Path A, competing against the likes of other teams from that semifinal, like Anderlecht, Sporting of Lisbon, Benfica, some other big names as well, like Kairat, that are just mainstays, Barcelona, all these big teams that are always a part of the Futsal Champions League action. Those top teams are the top 11 teams as well as 16th through 19th ranked teams participating across 4 groups of 4. The top 3 from each group are lucky enough to move on. So although the competition is much more fierce through Path A, there's more opportunity to move forward into that elite round of competition, which will be a round of 16, round of 4. But that is another video for another day. First, we got to get through the main round. Path B is a whole nother story. There's a completely different set of rankings there as we look to the teams that participate. 12th through 15th ranked countries teams will be participating in that, as well as the teams that round out 20 through 22nd. And then we talk about those 9 preliminary teams that earn their right to compete in the main round. They round out those 4 groups as they participate for Champions League action in the main round. The difference being, of course, that there's much less opportunity in Path B, even though the team competition may be slightly less intense than, say, the top 11 teams and company that we see in Path A. Only the winners will move on from Path B to the elite round. So quite a bit to think about here, as the paths can be somewhat confusing if you're not familiar with UEFA and its breakdown. Guys, listen, UEFA's got a tough challenge as they have so many countries that they have to give a fair shake to in this contest. So there are several levels of this, similar to how in the outdoor game you have to qualify for the Champions League in some cases if you're from smaller countries in the continent. Same thing here. There's just a couple extra levels that go along the way based on the way that this contest is set for futsal and its limitations. Couple teams to watch. Let's start with Path A. First and foremost, you got to put Palma at the top of the list. They're defending champs, their 2nd Champions League appearance ever after winning it in their first ever appearance last year on penalty kicks against Sporting. And I got to say, they are looking great going into this contest. I think that they're going to be exciting to watch again. Keep an eye out for those guys. Also, Anderlecht returns from Belgium as well. They made their semifinal debut last year, and they did it in fairy tale fashion, and it happened in the next round that we can look forward to after this main round, which is the elite round, where they got a tie against Barcelona in the last game of the elite round, which pushed them forward and propelled them into that semifinal over top of Barcelona on goal differential. So a really exciting team that is constantly molding and changing in Anderlecht. If you follow them on social media, they are just dominating Belgium right now, and it's no surprise when you look at some of the firepower on that team. Another team that deserves a shout out is Kairat out of Kazakhstan. This team is going to be the first club ever to appear in 20 Champions League competitions. So congratulations to them as they continue with their consistency. A team that is a regular in the semifinals and finals in this contest over the years is back again to mark round number 20 for their club and country. Then I look at the Group B teams, and there's certainly some teams there that you can get behind, some dark horses, so to speak. Of course, I think all eyes will be on Riga, especially with Ricardinho being back in Champions League action. He helped the team and their new company, including the likes of Dylan Vargas from San Lorenzo, who came halfway across the world to participate in Latvia and participated with Ricardinho in Champions League action. In the process, Ricardinho breaks the record for all-time leading scorer across Champions League action. He's got to be happy about that, but I'm sure, knowing the man's mentality over the years, that he will be looking for the bigger prize, and that's the team prize of moving forward in this competition and looking for glory with the trophy. So keep an eye on Riga. I would encourage you guys to go to their Facebook page and follow them. They are very active on social media, and I'd also encourage you to follow them here on YouTube if you're interested, because they often stream their games there. So if you want to catch some Champions League action, we may get a chance to do so here. So that's exciting stuff. Important thing about the streaming situation, guys, too, is each of these groups is hosted in a singular country. So there is a host team in each of these groups. The other three travel to them. Starting today and ending at the end of the week, they will have completed all of these games, and we will know who will be moving on to the elite round. And then we will see that draw later in the year here as we get closer to the elite round itself to set that round of 16 groups. Other teams to keep an eye out for, though, that may be very exciting, especially if you've been following futsal in Europe here recently. There's 3 teams making their debut in the main round. And I got to apologize because I'm probably going to butcher some of these names. But from France, where futsal is becoming a huge hotbed right now, Etel Bavois is making their Futsal Champions League debut for the first time. We'll also see a team from Kyiv, Ukraine. Of course, a city and a country that has been under a lot of stress over the last 2 years. They are hoping to bring some joy to their local fans as they participate in their first ever Champions League action. And then, of course, finally would be Futsal Dinamo out of Croatia. Futsal Dinamo, if you guys did not catch it on social media, captured everyone's hearts with their packed stadiums and their passionate fans. That is a truly grassroots club that built from the bottom, from nothing, and made a real grassroots team and fan base. And they are starting to see great success, taking them to the next level to get them into Champions League action. Another great team to follow if you guys are looking for someone other than the main big players that are going to be in this contest. We could go on and on with debuts because there's 4 other teams that are continuing their debut journey from the preliminary round. I'm going to put their logos on the screen here. A lot of teams to cover, guys. A lot of places to be at once here during this Champions League contest, but a lot of great storylines as well. And that's what makes this sport so great, is the passion and the storylines that you can find through that passion. There's a team out there for you that's competing right now in Europe, and you just got to find them and enjoy them. So I want to know what you guys think. Sound off in the comments below. Let me know what teams you're looking out for in this main round and how you're watching your favorite teams. Share your tips with us so we can all enjoy this trip together to elite round action, and let me know who you think is going to make it through as your top 16. Until I hear from you guys in the comments, don't forget to play with your soul.